Good night. Have one joint tonight. God is good and God is good all the time. My name is Irma Jill Spirits Divine. I'm also Unsolved Missing Divine. I'm here to give you a shout news on tonight. First we're gonna start with I talked to you August the 16th. When a family had brought a suitcase at an auction, and when she brought it home, it had remains in a suitcase where she had to call the police. And remember, I told you they was um, investigating, trying to identify, what the who the remains was, and so they identified that it was it's two children remains that was identified that was in the suitcase. So now they're trying to identify who the mother is. You know, so I talked about this case August the 16th. But now to two children found dead in a suitcase has been identified, but they're not, given a name. So they have the names and everything, but they're not given a name because they are small children. They did contact someone in a family, and they said do not broadcast their name. So New Zealand authority has said has confirmed the identifier of the two children who remains were found in the suitcase on the stuff inside the suitcase, but their names will not be made public at the request of their family. So they did find out who their family is. So just got to find out what the mother is. So detective continue on the investigation of the death. They're still investigating on the death, and they're still gonna have to find the mother of these two children. So the discovery came after unexpected families that brought a trailer, a load of items, and included the suitcase. So this person, she had a trailer load of stuff, and she had the suitcase when she brought it to the auction. You know, the auction for abandoned goods near Auckland, to country biggest city. You know, um, so the family who purchased the suitcase, at the auction are not connected to the debt. So the investigator that did not in connection with this investigation. So they identified the children ages. One was 5 years old and the other one was 10 years old. Had been dead for numbers of years, about 3 to 4 years. And the suitcase had been kept in storage since 2018. So 2018 up until now, pretty much like 4 hours, 4 years. So the police said they had located a woman believed to be related to the children, and they've been in storage since 2018 up until now. So immigration records show that the unidentified woman in her 40s arrived, but there have been no record of her deportation since. So they identified the woman, I guess, loading the stuff at the stores, but they never found any deportation or heard anything else about that woman. She just dropped it off and that was it. You know, so um, the police suspected the woman that could be the mother of the children that found dead as her past address, New Zealand. So they pretty much believe is the suspect. The suspect is the woman, may be the mother of these two children. So both storage unit and property was the suitcase were taken have been thoroughly examined by the experts. So they examined the suitcase. They examined the storage that it was in before went to the auction. So they examined everything. To try to get some kind of clues. DNA. They did all that, so that's how they were able to identify who these kids are. So I know the expert, they know exactly what they're doing, and I'm quite sure they're gonna do a DNA test to find out who the mother is. Because they already have a suspect that probably was the mother of these two children. So so that's the story on that. That was update. Cause I'm gonna keep up. I'm gonna keep proceeding to update on that. As long as they keep investigating, and they're gonna keep coming up with new clues. So this is about the school bus safety procedure. and it pretty much an update because brought it to my attention today. So this is for all across the nation, for all mothers who send their child off to school on the school bus. Lately they've been having incidents that occur on the school bus, where a child had got hurt, and also the bus driver went into a ditch and another bus driver overturned off the road. So we've been having all kind of stuff happening with the school bus. So and it was like back to back. So I request for cameras to be on the school bus. You know, where the bus driver and the children will be monitored at all time. You know, we'll be able to track back when anything else happened on the bus. We'll be able to track back and see exactly what had happened. And two, request that all parents to talk to your children before they enter on the bus. You know, since that incident occurred, trying to control the violence that occurred on the bus lately. So four, make sure all bus drivers have have a background check. So they won't so they can be sober. Driving the bus. So your children can be safe and protected. Because that's kind of dangerous. Be gone off the road. Falling in a ditch when you have a bus full of children. So also they have a parent came up with an idea also, for all parents. So now this was a parent idea, tracking on a app. A new tech that let parents track their kids on the school bus. So parents can use the Zoom app, it's ZUM. You use that app to alert them, and when their children board on the school bus, the tracker will route. It will track the route, and it will also profile the bus driver. So when you have that in their book bag and they get on that bus, it automatically gonna track the bus driver. You know, it and see that's what I'm saying. It's something like what I said with the cameras and so you still use a camera, and if the parents feel like they want to go with this app, that'll be fine too. Because so much things happen, and y'all dropping your kids off, and you want to know, if your kids are safe. So if anything do happen, if with cameras on the bus, we can always track back, and with your app alert, you can always still monitor your child while you're at work. So I think that is a good idea also. So we talked about the two children remain. That I talked about 2 weeks ago when a lady brought a suitcase at an auction and she brought it home. They had remains in the suitcase, and so the police they've been investigating ever since. And these they coming out with all kind of clues so fast. They're doing an excellent job. They also identified there are two children. Also identified their name that they would not broadcast. So they identify all these things, and all they need to do is look for the parent, who the mother is, or the father. So all they did, so that's what they're investigating now. They're trying to locate the mother, and they also track back the cameras that they did saw a woman, dropping off the stuff, but they didn't saw nothing else since then. She did that one trip, and that was it. So they're still investigating until they find the mother or the father, of these two children. And so we just talk about the school bus safety procedures. I request for cameras to be on the bus. What is monitoring the who the bus driver is when they're driving that bus that particular day, each day. That camera will monitor who driving that bus, and also monitor all the children that's on the bus since they had that incident, and since the incident with the bus driver. So every part will be monitored at all time. So I think that's a good idea. Since so much stuff is happening on the school bus. And also, a parent came up with an idea, a tracking app, ZUM. That's the name of the app. If any parents that wants to get this alert app, it monitor, it will track, profile the bus driver when the child get on the bus, and it will also the parent be able to be at work and still monitoring their child, because we're connected on their phone. So I think that'll be a good idea. Also, if the parents decide they want to go with the app, and I also think the cameras on the bus will still be a good idea. Also, so that way every day we can monitor who is driving that bus that particular day. Each day we'll know who's driving that bus. It will profile also that bus driver with the camera monitoring the bus driver and also monitoring all the kids to make sure they're safe. And if anything do happen, they're able to track back and see how it happened, when it started, who started, track back of how everything occurred. So I think both parties will be a good idea. The cameras on the bus, and if the parent decide they want to get this tracking app, and also I give y'all update on since they're still investigating what the two children with remains was found in the suitcase, and they have been in that suitcase for about 3 or 4 years. Because the woman they saw dropped that off way in 2018. So 18 up until now is like 4 years. And they ain't never heard nothing else or saw nothing else foolish of this woman. So she just dropped that off, and she pretty much um disappeared. So they're still trying to track that woman. They feel to believe she's a suspect of the mother of these two children. And also the people that found the families that found the suitcase that is not connected. So that's all the show news I have for y'all today. Y'all please have a nice day, and I see y'all in the next video.